Hey guys, what is up and welcome to a new League of Legends video. So for this video, I wanted to specifically focus on Azir and talk to you guys about this champion and just essentially what is happening with him at the very moment because, well, for the most part, he went from what arguably was one of the most dominant, strongest, and even most popular mid laner to whatever the hell he is now, which is essentially a dead champion. You almost never see him, but when you do see him, the chances are the team that has Azir is probably gonna lose unless that person is exceptionally good at the champion. Now, before we dive further into this topic, I do want to quickly mention that I am going to be doing an RP giveaway for this video and also for the month of December. This is the month of giving, so from now up until December 25th, I'll be giving away RP on random videos. So for this one, I'll be giving away a $10 RP card, and the way to enter is very simple. All you have to do is write a comment down below telling me what you plan on doing for the holidays, and also just by liking the video. It's that simple. And I'll choose a winner before I do the next RP giveaway. But all that out of the way, let's get into the topic of the video, Azir. So in my honest opinion, Azir is one of the coolest champions in League of Legends. Whether you're talking about his lore, just how the character looks, his voiceover, or his gameplay, I mean, he is just a fantastic champion. He's a lot of fun to play, he's got a huge learning curve, which if you invest the time is very, very rewarding, and there's just a lot of really cool things you can do with the mechanics of his kit. Now I'm sure most of you remember the days where Azir was so prominent in the mid lane that he was easily a pick or ban champion always. So I thought, you know what, let's check out how he's doing at the very moment. Let's check out his stats, his win rate, his play rate, what exactly is happening with him. So I did, and here's what I got. So I'm using a website called champion.gg, which is a pretty good website just to get a rough idea as to what champions are successful and doing well and not doing so well. So I scroll all the way down looking for Azir. I can't find him. You can see it is sorted by mid lane only. You can see there on the third tab. But unfortunately, Azir is still nowhere to be found. So as we keep going down and down and down, even below someone like Mordekaiser, well, there's Azir. All the way at the bottom, literally the lowest win rate, 42% out of all mid lane champions. Even champions like maybe Mordekaiser who aren't really all that mid lane kind of champion-ish. Now, as far as I remember, Azir's win rate wasn't never anything absolutely just out of this world, but it was at least something better than the last spot, 42%. It used to be somewhere maybe around 49 or so, just because of how hard the champion truly is. So I decided to look at a bit more stats and just see more specifically as to how he's doing, so let's take a look at that next. So here we have the win rate by patches. It's pretty damn low, almost every single patch, and he received a little bit of, love here or there, but ever since the big nerfs that happened to him consistently, Azir just has never been the same, and it's been like that for quite a while now. You can see it's been at least 5 patches, if not even more now, where he's had this abysmal win rate, where Riot just kind of left him to be, sort of kicked him on the ground and just let him slowly die off. So I thought maybe the play rate is really high, maybe his win rate's so low because so many people are playing him, but if you look at this, well, that's really not the case. His play rate is actually really low. Almost no one is playing him, and for a good reason, because, to be frank, he sucks dick. Now, even having said that, that's not to say that, you can't carry with Azir. Yeah, you can definitely still carry, but it requires just a lot more work to do the job that many other champions can do more or less the same way or more successfully, but also having an easier time to do it. So it makes you kind of wonder, why would you want to invest exceptionally more time into a champion to try and win games, which is also much more difficult? I mean, you are essentially handicapping yourself just from playing Azir at the very moment. Because even this graph here shows that people that have played over 125 games are still sitting at a pretty damn abysmal win rate. Now, the thing that doesn't make sense to me is why 15 to 50 games seems to be the highest one, and it's actually at a pretty decent number as well. Doesn't make much sense to me, but you can see 50 plus, it just drops even below 40%. I mean, below 40%, 125 games played. It doesn't even make sense. Now, I'm not sure how many of you guys remember, but about 5 months ago, I made a video talking about some information that was released about Azir, how a potential rework might be coming up in order to actually balance him properly and put him in a spot where he's strong, but not so strong where he's pretty much the only viable option in mid lane. And looking more into that Reddit post, you can see that they're looking to do one of two things. Either support his ranged hyper carrying by removing Shurima Shuffle, or supporting the fact that he can do the Shurima Shuffle with the EQ and the ulting them back, kind of like the Azir Insect, and also using his EQ combo in general, but giving him a significant range nerf and increasing his tankiness and other things to make him sort of a mid-ranged battle mage. Now, I'm obviously not going to be making this video to give you guys information that I already did in the previous video 4 or 5 months ago, but I did want to do two things. One, sort of bring up the attention of Azir once again and kind of remind everyone that this champion still very much exists and he probably really wants to be back in the meta, and I know I would absolutely love having him to be viable because he's one of my personal favorite champions. But on top of this, there is also new information regarding Azir, so let's get into that next. So taking a look at the PBE patch notes, which should be coming out next patch, we have some buffs happening to Azir. But before you get excited, let's take a quick look at what the buffs actually are. The first of which, to his passive, turret AD per minute has been increased by 1, okay. Gold reward for enemies killing Azir's turret has been lowered by 50 gold, okay. Construction time going down to 3.5 seconds from 5, but may not make it into next patch. I mean, that's not bad, I guess. That's okay, I guess. And then there's a buff to his W where it seems like the recharge time has been lowered by 2 seconds at every single rank, which, I mean, that's not too bad. I mean, that is pretty decent. But when we're talking about the champion that has been out of the meta for just so long and also has the lowest win rate by far of all mid lane champions, that's just not enough. So this definitely begs the question as to why are their nerfs so small and just almost trivial in a sense to a champion that is just insanely behind with the current meta. Well, there's some context to this, so let's take a look at that next. So there was a post made a few days ago, it's just saying, are the Azir nerfs a joke? Like, what the hell are these? And then Medler responded with saying how Azir and Kalista, both very weak champions in their respective roles, are very prominent right now in the sense that they're very scared when they're buffing them because these champions have been known to be just insanely strong at certain points where they were flat out the best pick for their role by far. So Riot seems to be very scared to buff him too much in certain areas because they feel like if they do, they're just gonna go back to what they were, and that's not what they want. And he then also later states how they did want to do kind of bigger changes for Azir or make bigger buffs or different things overall, but there's just not enough space in the patch of 6.24, so they had to kind of push it a little bit more forward. And for now, they're gonna do just small tweaks here and there to try and maybe help the champion out a little bit before possibly the bigger changes arrive. So based on all of this, based on the information we had about 4 months ago where it has been confirmed more or less that they are looking to kind of do a rework for Azir to really put him in a good spot rather than being able to just do everything really well. And a lot of times from past experiences especially, whenever Riot sort of leaves the champion to sort of slowly die and drift off, it's not because they actually want them to die and drift off, it's because they're usually working on bigger changes, bigger scope changes where they can't just flat out buff a champion like Azir in this case to the point where he'll be back in the meta because they'll just be back to square one where Azir was the best champion by far in the mid lane. Instead, what they try to do is work behind the scenes and make the bigger changes happen and then release it all as a whole. So with the rate that Azir has been going at and the fact that he hasn't really received much love for several patches now, and even now, even though he is receiving some buffs, I mean, let's be honest, not the biggest thing in the entire world, but hopefully it'll help a bit. I definitely will be surprised if Riot is not working on some sort of maybe rework or pretty big significant changes to his overall kit to put him in a better spot and to give him a better identity. But either way, that's about it for this video. I just kind of wanted to sort of discuss Azir, sort of rant about him because I truly miss this champion. I love him. He's a fantastically fun champion to play. He's got really cool ways to play him and just cool things he can do. So I truly hope he'll be back in the meta sooner or later. Either way, guys, if you did enjoy this video, let me know by hitting that like button, especially if you want to take part of the giveaway I'm doing for this video specifically, and also write a comment down below either telling me what you're doing for the holidays or what you think about Azir and his current state and what you want to happen to him. But thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to share the video if you haven't, subscribe if you haven't as well, and I hope to see you for my next video. Peace.